So, you know what I love what people experience is when I work with them, there's this sense of belonging, of believing in who you're going to become. But then in that, you're not becoming this new you, leading yourself into that direction of becoming the leader of a movement, of a community, of recreating this exact same experience of belonging. But it's as a tribe. You get to go to events that make you feel like you finally found your family. I don't say that family word in just the sense of like, oh yeah, siblings together, but really that deepest sense of these people get me. I'm finally with my tribe. And that's who you in the impact that you want to make are called to lead. And that's why I want to say that you need to start marketing your movement. See, when you step into this leadership role, marketing is not just something you need to do to grow your business. Marketing is what you do to create the culture that people want to belong to. Sharing the stories and the testimonies of how those you've worked with have come to a transformational, pivotal time in their lives. They're seeing growth. They're seeing time with their family. They're seeing health for the first time. They're feeling great. Whatever transformation that you bring into people's lives, and you're deciding to market a movement and really put your digital footprint out on the internet to share your cornerstone message, that message that resonates from the mess you probably came out of, because as we all know, from the mess, so begets the mission. And I want to call you to step into the leadership role that you know deep within you want to step into, but you might be thinking, okay, I need to build a business. Well, leading a movement is the most powerful way to market and monetize your business. See, because the idea of a movement precedes all your marketing activity. Because in that, right, you as the leader, you stand out, you're the brand, you're the one that people look to, just like we look to Jordan when I was a kid, right? I gotta have my Air Jordans, and hopefully that's not showing my age, because I'm pretty sure I'm still young, and you can be young with me. And Jordan, and people looked to him. He wasn't just an athlete. He became a leader. And he had a choice to make. What kind of leader would he become? Because he became someone in the limelight. Now you might be wondering, how can I do this? How can I lead a movement where people belong? Where people start to believe who they can become? Where do I even go to begin this idea of marketing your movement? Well, this is all built upon the foundation of you and what you're called to do. Because you have something that breaks your heart, something that really just messes with you and gets you riled up and pisses you off, makes you angry. And from these emotions, you see something, you've been through something, and now you are committed to cause a transformation. So I want to ask you this question: what are you committed to cause? Think about that. If you're committed to cause something in someone's life, what will you stop at? If you're going to really cause transformation, if you're going to really cause change, your passion, your drive will get you to persist through the moments when you want to throw it out, in the moments when you can't figure it out. But your cause, that sense of vision and purpose, will also give you somewhere to point and lead people. And the way you begin leading people is through a sense of empathy, a sense of compassion on the people who are where you were, maybe just last year, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, and the expertise you built around not only your experience, but through leading clients through that same exact thing. Now you have a message In the movie world, they call it a log line. You have a log line, that cornerstone thesis of what you can bring the world. And I want to invite you to market your movement and build empathy with your tribe through the most powerful way of marketing. That's relationship. You see, when I was a young boy, I just had this deep need to be seen, to be heard, right? I get up on this microphone and stages because I have this innate desire and need to be seen and heard. When people listen to me, I feel this vibration from within. And that was a little bit rocked when I was just 6 years old, when the person who was the one I looked to really share what was going on, who was building my life skills, was suddenly swiped away from my life. My father, at 6 years old, was suddenly gone, taken to prison. And for the next 5 years, I was without a mentor. My mom was off taking care of making ends meet. Suddenly the breadwinner of the house, she was working. I was with grandma and grandpa, and I felt alone. No one seemed to see or understand what I was going through. I didn't know who to share it with. And in this season, I began to find my way by becoming a problem solver. But I'd also began a journey of, as I looked for those problems to solve, seeking out mentors, seeking out coaches who could bring a sense of skills and development, and really more than anything, challenging me to step up to the next level, leading me. And I found a few mentors here and there, but one of the most powerful experiences I found mentorship moving me into living my cause in this stage of life was through a Facebook ad. Who knew in a season where I thought I was living alone in the ministry full time, I found this course for a Facebook ad, marketing for 5 years later, I'm at an event with this mentor who is just taking me season after season of what it's like to build a business, what it's like to build a personal brand, and bring your message to the world. And from a Facebook ad, of all things, this is why you're called to do marketing. This is why we get up and shout from the rooftops of Facebook and Instagram messages, is to build that relational bridge. Because if somebody leaves a comment, you've started a conversation, and that conversation makes an introduction so you can build a relationship. And eventually, it is your obligation in that relationship to call them forward and present that challenge. Sometimes the challenge is to work with you at a higher level, become their clients, because one of the most empowering things you can do is sell them for a high price to pay forward. Because when we don't pay, it doesn't hurt enough to really make progress. But when we truly empathize with people, truly connect and understand issues, we know we can't just let them sit it. We got to call them. And in this journey of finding advertising, marketing, sales, I began this journey of pivoting from ministry and buying a course, marketing for missionaries. I found something I loved, and I began to go out and see people who just help me try it. And in a season of having my second daughter, it went from, oh, this is fun to try, to you better make money tomorrow, or your oldest daughter's living free, you don't know where you're going to live, and you probably have to pay food to live with grandma and grandma, which, okay, praise God, we had grandma and grandma back home, but let's face it, that hurts to try. In that moment, I met 100 leaders, business owners, business managers, whoever could hire somebody, and I found the freedom to. And in that, I met one of my coolest clients, the first client, who had an e-commerce business that needed marketing, systems, and just a whole lot. So we began building up their system and turned a membership site that was an idea into a movement. Began by launching into the world. I took the book, product, launch formula, and said, let's try this. Had some video footage. We just piecemealed it together. Not the prettiest launch ever, but was successful. From an idea to 300 members to a now profitable membership site alongside a profitable e-commerce business. I thought this is the coolest thing ever. We could do it. So pull in another book, Ask. Okay, let's try Ryan Levesque's Ask. Okay, we asked some questions, got to know people a little bit. Okay, let's try Russell Brunson. Hey, funnels. And funnels are, automations. Well, at this point, things are growing, and to my client's mind and me, automation is fun, right? Oh, we can automate the business. So we automated a funnel into a funnel, and I turned that automation, and so you get into this email campaign, and if you don't do this, then you'll come to this automation, and I'll automate until the cows come home. And a lot of this marketing worked and selling, and we reached a beautiful point of 1,200 members, $12,000 monthly reoccurring revenue, right? It was a healthy point. Finally, this membership idea it's a stable, healthy membership. We can really scale. And then I tried another funnel, and we did this big, funnel into funnel, right? We're going to automate these people, and nothing. The business just began to plateau. We just reached this point and we're stuck, and you just do this ups and downs. But it was business plateau. Like, why aren't we making money? And now I'm the guy who can market and sell. And he looks to me, why are we making money? Let's get some feedback. You're the guy, you're the head of this business. What are people saying? What do you mean? The business is automated. Like, you did it. Okay, so nobody's talking to you? No, I'm like free to create. It's like, okay, well, we've built the dream, right? You're finally free to go and do all this filming and have time, except that in that, the business plateaued. And so he looked at me like, what are people saying? Like, you're the marketer, you're the one going, no way automated everything. Like, I got it out there. In that moment, we decided we needed to start reaching out to clients and people, at least close in the sphere. And we got somebody to give us some honest feedback. Worst words of my life coming from the ministry world, it just blew me to pieces, because all I heard was, you guys' marketing is sleazy. It's like dealing and going to the used car salesman and getting wheeled and deal on something you don't want to do. Those words were like knives, hundreds of thousands of tiny little knives just going throughout my body, because that from a ministry background, from wanting to be seen and heard, was just anything but the premise of what my core values exhibited, because I suddenly became an automated asshole. Just another a-hole marketer out there peddling their products. And I'm not saying that automation needs to be thrown out, but we need to consider, is our marketing building empathy? Are we building relationships? And how can we leverage automation to get us into a conversation, skip the fluff, and have that conversation in context? People are struggling with things. They need to be called forth and taken across the bridge of that challenge. But what if we could truly listen with our marketing? What if we could truly build empathy? And that's in that moment when I decided, never again will I be an automated asshole. Never again will I just build a funnel into a funnel into a funnel just to have this quasi-passive income. If it doesn't build a community, if it doesn't grow a movement that leaves a legacy past your lifetime, why do it? I literally decided that. Why do it? And you shouldn't do anything that crosses your lines of integrity. Do something that's worth leaving a legacy for. Something that you're committed to cause. And what I truly believe is that marketing is leadership. And we often think of marketing, marketing is what leads to leads, and which leads to sales. Okay, that's a really pretty way of saying it, but we're not a SaaS company, right? And this is for people dedicated to bringing transformation as a coach and consultant. Your role, whether working one-to-one or one-to-many, is to lead that community towards something more, and eventually that community multiplies your movement. And that's why I created the Listen framework, because I couldn't ever again imagine being another automated asshole. Hooking people, baiting them with some clickbait, right? Some good lines, right? And then you pull them in, get the sale. Yeah, you close the deal. You're a good salesman. And sure, maybe the client got what they needed, but did objectifying your prospect really serve your heart, their needs, their value? And maybe, you can justify it, but they got what they really needed. Yeah, because you added a little more relational component to listen. And that's really what I want to bring is, if we're taking people on a relationship building journey of know, like, trust, those words we've heard over and over and over. Well, how is hooking someone going to build any trust? Oh, you got my attention. Yeah, getting attention is important, but I don't want a fish hook in my mouth. I don't want to be headhunted for a sale. I'm playing a semantics game for a reason. The words we speak are the words we act out upon. So when we listen, right? Now we've got an acronym that says, if I'm listening, and as a coach and a consultant, you should know what active listening is, right? We all live from this premise. I'm actively listening. I'm here to engage with my tribe, my community, my prospect, my people. I care deeply, and I know you care so deeply, because you don't want anybody to not climb out of that mess that you climbed out of. And you want that mess that took you maybe a decade to get through. Why not help people get through it in 6 months, 3 months, or at least get them momentum? So that's why it's important when you're listening to really frame it from locating the perfect person, right? Locating your dream client, where they're at, and provoking them to start a conversation. And this can be applied in a million different ways, but you're really in that L, locating somebody, making an introduction. And then instead of, grabbing them for a conversion with a lead magnet, yeah, great premise. I think we all like to be invited to the party. I feel pretty good when I get invited to come to a live event that's pretty exclusive, because now I've made a quick, brief introduction with you, maybe by social media post. We've had a couple comments back and forth. There's actually something of an exchange going on and not just more noise. And when you invite me, it's something meaningful. Now, that invitation can happen multiple ways, but of course, what do you need when you make an invitation? Hey, let me get your contact information so you can come and join this movement, right? So you can join what we're doing. Traditional way of presenting a lead magnet is great, but how about you provide magnetic attraction to taking action, providing something that moves people forward? Because that's what you're drawing people into, is to belong and move forward. And then in that invitation, your next goal is to complete a survey, right? This idea of, hey, if I can ask you a few questions, I can actually get to know you and continue this conversation in context. And you can leverage automation to pull people in from a Facebook ad to an invitation through a PDF, and then ask one simple question, and now you can personalize your automation and turn that into something that starts conversations. Again, we're building context, because content is king, but context is kingdom. And then in that survey element, you're not doing a big long form, you're just getting enough information so you can take them down the right path. Can I help you with offer 1 or offer 2, or do I need to point you to a friend? You don't need to sell everybody. You need to point people in the right direction. That's what empathy does. And then beyond that survey, you begin to teach. We've all had these experiences of like, wow, that was profound. I didn't understand that. This is why webinars exist and why they work well. This is why product launches are powerful. It's both entertaining but informative, because we get to see next steps. We get to experience what you can provide in just a small dose and not have to pay. Or maybe we pay a small price. $49 to find out if we have chemistry is a great way to, you make a little money for me to commit to something. And beyond the teach, you begin to empower people through the power of the testimony, and you draw them in to make a purchase. Now, I say it's empowering because I've done ministry and I've seen what providing free ministry does versus charging just $10 does. We were in the country in Nepal working on a leadership development course, and in this story, we offered, a whole week, we're here, ministry, come do this leadership thing for free. Some straggler comes in, first day, but they don't come the next day, and we get new people the second day, and the third day is a whole nother group. You got to do the whole content of day one over and over and over, and you never really build on the building blocks. Versus the next time we did it, we charged just $10. Now, $10 in Nepal is not as small as you and I might make $10 oil. That's just, a couple Starbucks coffees. That was a couple meetings, but they were suddenly so invested that everyone showed up every day. And not only that, they were bought in, because that exchange of money, it was not selling them, it was empowering them to make a decision, because giving just that $10 for them was somewhat painful. And if your clients who are coming to your world don't feel a little bit of pain in the amount they're paying you, then raise your rates, because you need to empower them to feel the value that they're going to give. Because when they feel it, they act. You're bringing them to action. And of course, to finalize that, the N stands for nurture. You want to nurture your client's success so that they too come out of that mess and become brand ambassadors. They become a tribe that carries the torch, because they're like, oh, this works, you gotta work with it. They become your stories, but more than that, they begin to multiply your movement. Some of them may begin to carry the torch with you, and instead of having to scale a business, you multiply a movement that builds countless businesses. And we see this model work all the time. You can multiply instead of scale. Scaling is wonderful when you're a SaaS company, but why scale a coaching business? You should multiply yourself by extending your training so others can build businesses, and you might make a little bit on that. There's great money to create a sense of collaboration and partnership, and people can really begin to rise. And instead of building your large coffers, you've built a community of wealth, and wealth will build upon wealth, and they'll be able to go on and build movements that multiply because you instilled in them an experience of what it feels like to feel seen and heard in marketing. That same experience that from 6 years old, I wanted to feel. And the humor is, my dad came back into my life after 5 years in prison, and back into my world. And the humorous thing now is what he did then is now legal in our state. He sold a little bit of marijuana. So how's that for irony? But I say that in a little bit of jest because I might not have gone through that mess. And so it sucks that I had to live 5 years without my father. From that pain birthed a purpose of making sure people find mentors, coaches, consultants, right? People who take people down the path, who've been there before. This is why this industry is going to explode. Be a leader who transcends bad a-hole tactics. Be a leader who listens, who really empathizes with a community to create a sense of belief in who your tribe is becoming, so they really feel like they belong. Don't just market your business. Put your digital footprint on the internet to leave a lasting legacy for tomorrow and start marketing your movement.